Yeah, so a lot of partners have, I think, taken on board Office 365 now. It's definitely past the tipping point. We've been doing it for something like 6 years now, you know, and we love it, of course, and it's evolved over time. But the key thing, I suppose, on a lot of partners' lips to hear from the Office 365 business lead is, how can we differentiate ourselves from all those other partners? What about the IP aspect, and what key areas of Office 365 should we focus on to make the most profit?
Okay, so we've got quite a few different kind of areas we can break that down into. Firstly, I'd say partners are less profitable if they're just trying to sell a license.
Yes.
You're up against maybe a few others trying to do that, and it's just a pricing game. Customers won't value that. What they really value is helping have a great solution for them that will help them, that will get them actually using it and see the ongoing benefit of it. So in many ways, you said the IP, it's really that wraparound. You know, is there a vertical solution that you could have? What about the devices piece? How can you make that simple for them? How can you have maybe even kind of the training aspects that are obviously sort of very interesting in the market?
Yeah, it's interesting that you mentioned training. Obviously, it's a big thing for us. A few years ago, I was on the Office 365 Partner Advisory Council, and you know, we were thinking about ways of enabling us to just move people from Exchange to all the other applications and improve the adoption. So obviously, we developed the 365 Cloud Academy, which we all talk about all the time. So you know, that to us is a really nice end game to the Office 365 implementation, because then it gets people to adopt it better. You know, adoption is the key, isn't it?
Absolutely. I'd say one good example of Office 365, you might just have Exchange and business email. And we can see examples where if you don't help your customer on board, even just with that piece, then if you don't in the first sort of few weeks, then the renewal rate will be 44%. If you do, it's probably a lot more likely to be kind of in the 92% region. Let alone then your upsell opportunity. Hey, we've got many events like Office 2007 End of Support, helping them getting on board into Office 365 apps, those type of pieces. So if you don't actually truly help your customers' deployments, kind of migration and adoption, then it will be negative revenue for you, but potentially. But the value, you know, going from something which is like £2.50 for basic email up to your kind of £30 regions of full-blown opportunity, whether it be the extent of security that we have built in, or kind of the voice elements as well.
That brings me to a really nice other question. I'm always fascinated to hear about this, but you know, Exchange is obviously the first thing that we started to do, but I'd really like to know, you know, I have my ideas, but I'd really like to know what's the second biggest application that you would say people use in Office 365 that we could migrate people to?
Yeah, I mean, there's the apps themselves. And we see, you know, a lot of the time people really value that. They know and love Office, like Word, Excel, etc. We see obviously quite a lot of uptake around that and across the devices and the mobility benefits. But then we also look at the services, and the kind of the next service we see a lot of interest and a lot of use on is SharePoint and OneDrive for Business.
I'm glad you said that, because that's exactly what we see as well. I think there's some really great consultancy around SharePoint now, you know, setting up the file storage within SharePoint. You know, the storage capability there actually fits a lot of SMB customers and gives them that version control, you know, so I'm really glad you said that, and all the updates to OneDrive as well. I think it's the number one player for sharing files and saving now, so great.
Yeah, and another great example of kind of that importance of building the IP, not only for the customer to get the value, but also profitability, and I think we see that in the market as well, in the news.
Great, Katrina, thanks.